Hello, everyone. This is the Cool Kids discussion on the Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg's newest film. And due to the fact that we all absolutely adore Steven Spielberg here, we felt that we had to watch it and review it. So here we are. So the Fabelmans is, I mean, the description says semi autobiographical, but let's be real, it's really like autobiographical, but of Steven Spielberg's life. And when it comes to this movie, it's very well done. I thought the acting, the writing, the cinematography, the storytelling, and how everything leads up to the point we know of. All really well done. I thought Gabriel LaBelle, I think his name is, the guy who plays Sammy, was excellent. I thought he gave arguably the best performance of the movie, but Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, somehow Seth Rogen, the kids, they all did a magnificent job. And what I will say, I just like everything is so good. I have kind of almost little to say about it because like everything was just so good, and it's like almost to the point where it's like, oh, obviously, it's a fucking Steven Spielberg movie. Of course, it's gonna be great. So it's like it's kind of like expecting that almost. So with that, like I have very little to say. I thought I was intrigued all the way through. I liked the structure. I felt like because the structure was very much not like act 1, act 2, act 3. It was very much like small vignettes of like little glimpses into situations in Spielberg's, or should I say Fableman's life, about like the little things that like just continually make him the man who he will become that we know of, and how he grows throughout the movie. Like the you have the whole conversation with Judd Hirsch, his great uncle. I've been blanking on his name. Um, it was like just like the passion of artistry versus like the virtue of family. I thought that was really well done, really well acted, really interesting. And I like those tidbits. Like here, like the vignette thing kind of nailed it for me. Unlike something like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I could like just that. Like I couldn't, I couldn't. I just couldn't get connected to this. I felt very connected. Maybe because it's like I want to be a filmmaker, and I felt more connected to this than I guess just Hollywood in the 60s, I guess. Like I don't feel very connected to that. Well, here I was like personally connected to Sammy's story, and I thought that was really really well executed. I will say if I had any negatives to say is that the pacing's a little off. Like it got like some scenes went on a little bit too long, and it did get a little bit boring. And if I had anything else to say, um hmm I will say it's not what I expected, I guess. It's not what I expected. Like I expected more about like uh Sammy's uh journey into the arts and film, and like I thought it was like going to be more about the film side to his inspiration to who he was rather than the family side. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's just like it's so different from what I expected. So I feel like I have to give this another watch to like really and fully appreciate it. So and I do plan to watch it because I went with my dad and we watched it together. And we both think that my mom would really like it. So I'm probably gonna eventually watch it again anyway. So you have that. But yeah, I thought this was, again, it's Spielberg. Like he 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 makes it look easy. Like he's just like, all right, guess I have to make another masterpiece that'll get nominated for a bunch of Oscars. Well, that time of the year again. Okay. So yeah, it's Spielberg being Spielberg. Like, I don't know what else you could possibly say, but that's all I have to say. And with that, I give it a 9 out of 10. Devon, you go next.
All right. Hello, everyone. Cinemax Sterling here with a new webcam and a new microphone specifically for this review. But anyway, I went into the Fabelmans completely blind. I didn't read any plot synopsis. I didn't watch the trailers. When I think Steven Spielberg, I go in expecting greatness, and that's exactly what I got. Spielberg strikes again with another great movie, which is to be expected. Acting is strong from everybody, and especially Gabriel LaBelle as Sammy, Paul Dano as Bert, Michelle Williams as Mitzi, and surprisingly, Seth Rogen as Benny. I never thought I'd see him in a non-stoner comedy role, yet he knocked it out of the park. Also, David Lynch's cameo as John Ford at the end was awesome. Like, the horizons on the top, it's interesting. Horizons on the bottom, it's interesting. Everything in the middle is boring as fuck. The story is strong, dramatic, and heartwarming. I love how Spielberg went for a semi-autobiographical approach with this movie, showing some of the struggles he went through the eyes of another character. I thought that was very strong on his part. The dramatic moments hit very well in this movie. When Sammy discovers that Mitzi is cheating on his dad with Benny, my jaw dropped to the floor and I almost cried. Just seeing how heartbroken and angry he was at these two. It was just such a well done and executed scene. Just perfect. If I had any issues with this movie that prevent it from being that 5 out of 5 or that 10 out of 10, the third act didn't really invest me as much as those first two acts. Because once we got to the high school stuff, it started to get a little generic, especially with the one-dimensional bullies, which is one of my least favorite tropes. And also, the pacing did feel off in spots. I don't really think it needed to be 2.5 hours. But those are just nitpicks. I still think the movie is great. One of my favorites of the year. I can't put it up there in my top 5 or top 3 Spielberg movies. But I have to applaud the man for giving us another great movie. Definitely check it out. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It would be higher if it wasn't for some of those issues with the third act.
Okay. The way I'll actually structure this review this time is I'll get my issues with the movie out of the way right before I get into the good stuff. My biggest issue right off the bat is the pacing. I mean, because my particular thing was I feel like there's several spots randomly throughout the movie that they could have cut out, mainly with the high school and the bullies. But the main thing for me actually was I feel like that you could have used maybe an extra 10 minutes at the end with Sammy talking to the director. I thought that scene was great. That would have been my favorite scene of the movie if it were longer. But I gotta say, this is probably the best Spielberg movie we've had since War of the Worlds, and that's just my view. But what I loved about the movie right off the bat is that even though he's telling kind of a fictional story through the lens of what his actual upbringing was like, I gotta commend the man for really kind of structuring it that way. It could have just been an ego-driven thing where it's literally Steven Spielberg as a kid, but he kind of thought outside the box, and I like that. Some of the highlights of the movie for me were actually The first 30 minutes actually was my favorite. Everything with when he was a kid, not a teenager, but a kid, was my favorite stuff in the movie. And my thoughts pretty much kind of echo everyone else's, is that the pacing was kind of off and the third act kind of went downward for me, but not enough to where I would hate the movie. So kind of what everyone else is saying. Not much else to say about it, but arguably the best Spielberg movie we've had in years, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Not much to say.
Okay, then. All right, let me pull it up here. Okay, all right. Let me state that I love Steven Spielberg's works. Not every film of his works, but when they do, he knocks it out of the park. And I'm happy to report that The Fabelmans is no exception. Every single the performances were all very solid. Gabriel LaBelle does a great job, does a wonderful job as Sammy Fabelman. Michelle Williams and Paul Dano do a great job as Sammy's parents. Mitzi and Bert Fabelman. Even the actors that played like the side characters do a great job. I mean, even hell, Seth Rogen surprised me big time. I mean, the thing is that I'm not really a Seth Rogen fan because I feel like he just plays like the stereotypical jokey stoner character that he does in his comedies, but it's like here he was able to play a serious role and actually show emotion. So he does a fantastic job in this, and it surprised the hell out of me. The cinematography was wonderful in this, especially when you have the guy who did the cinematography for other Steven Spielberg's works, like Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm badly going to butcher it. So, the musical score is also well composed by the legendary John Williams, and it's also Steven Spielberg does a great job directing this film as well. And I love how this film just is like a mirror to Steven Spielberg's own childhood, like all the way between when he got his passion and love for filmmaking, all the way until when he gets his big break in the industry. It is his Steven Spielberg's life through the eyes of a fictional character. It's very dramatic. It's very heartfelt. You feel the tension of the characters. And I also thought that this movie, just like other movies that came out this year, like Clerks 3, and it was like a love letter to filmmaking. So, and I really appreciate that kind of things. The third act probably could have been paced maybe a tad bit better, but that's probably the closest thing to a negative I could think of. But this movie is still a fantastic watch overall, and I can honestly see this being in my top 5 of the year. Though we'll have to see how the rest of the year plays out, though. And my rating is a 9 out of 10.
And then there was one. Well then, let me just say that first of all, I eagerly anticipated this film, as one does when Spielberg releases a new movie, and it not only met but exceeded those lofty expectations. The film is exceptionally well made, with superb acting, moving cinematography, gorgeous set design, costume design, and settings, an engaging story, a beautiful soundtrack, solid editing, and of course, top-notch directing. Basically, it's everything you would expect from a Spielberg film. However, what elevates this movie to true greatness is just how personal it is. All of Spielberg's films have a little bit of his background in them, from Distant Fathers in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, to Divorce in E.T., to his exploring his Jewish roots in Schindler's List. I'm not saying anything new to point out that his films have provided an outlet for his feelings about his troubled childhood, a sort of catharsis, if you will. However, what was explored before only in themes and metaphors is here dealt with directly, laid bare before the eyes of the world. Since this film is a fictionalized autobiography made by the greatest director of our day, knowing the real story of his childhood greatly enhances the viewing experience. As with Sammy, for example, Steven Spielberg's interest in filmmaking began early in life, again with his musically inclined mother as his biggest cheerleader, just like in the film. The tension between the more serious-minded engineer father and the young artistic Sammy over his future career path reflects the real-life tensions between Spielberg and his own father, from whom he was estranged for years. The bullying and harassment Spielberg endured for being Jewish is, of course, included as well. The very real divorce that rocked Spielberg's family, including the infidelity that ended it, is explored here as well in considerable depth. As a child of divorce myself, this felt very poignant to me. Most importantly, just as filmmaking has served as a catharsis for Steven Spielberg, it is also the vehicle through which young Sammy explored his world and his emotional reactions to it. Thus, he filmed a train crash with his toy train set to get over his visceral reaction to the one he saw on the big screen in The Greatest Show on Earth. He both discovers his mother's infidelity and communicates his knowledge of it to her through the language of film. He makes a World War II film to seek a closer connection to his father, who fought in the war. And in the third act, after he has seemingly lost everything, it is through one of his films and his classmates' reaction to it that he finds redemption and reconciliation. However, there is one big difference that is the key to understanding this film. In real life, Spielberg's father took the blame for the divorce so as not to break the bond between the kids and their mother, despite the fact that the real reason was her infidelity. This led to an estrangement between Steven and his father that lasted for decades. In the film, by contrast, Sammy's mother openly states that she is leaving their father for Benny, the erstwhile best friend of the father. It's as if Spielberg is correcting the past as a form of catharsis. Since I am also a child of divorce, as I said, one of the themes of E.T., which came out when my own parents' divorce was fresh in my mind, I can feel where he's coming from on a deep and personal level. It allows him to reconcile Sammy with his mother while avoiding the deeply painful break with his father that happened in real life. Therefore, by the end, when he finally follows his mother's sage advice and seeks a career in filmmaking with his father's blessing, it all feels earned, as if his mother was right that things happen for a reason, as if all is right with the world. This is the way it should have been. The film even has an old-style, uplifting ending of the type that characterized Spielberg's early work, with Sammy meeting legendary director John Ford, a clever and humorous bit of foreshadowing of the great director's own career. This film would have been great even had it not been so personal for one of the greatest directors of all time. The fact that it is so personal makes it one of the best he has ever made, and my rating is a perfect 10. I honestly think it's maybe even in his top 5. Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty much up there.
In the words of Weird, the Al Yankovic story, bro, I got chills. That was good.
Thanks, man.
I got chills.
One thing I wish I had put in there.
That was good.
Thanks, man.
Bravo.
We were all like kind of stumbling over our words, and then Mark just like shits on every fucking buddy here with his amazing fucking review. It's like, okay, great. Now, how the fuck is the rest of this goddamn discussion gonna live up to that? Thanks, Mark.
Hallelujah.
One thing I forgot to bring up though is that his love of film. I wish I had mentioned just how one of my favorite films was in this. Who Shot Liberty Valance? And it's this great Western by John Ford, and the way his love of film was really in this, and the way his love of film was just kind of like his outlet to the world. I mean, like he keeps seeing these films and he keeps being inspired by them, and he communicates. It's like he almost communicating through the language of film. So it's very beautiful the way he does. Like I love the ending is through his film, that film he made, just this little filming on the beach, and he just turns it into a masterpiece. He turns it into this great uplifting thing that it's remind me of, oh damn, what's the one? Chariots of Fire. What I'm talking
Oh yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So with these guys running, looking like like the old style Greek Olympics. So I mean, and I thought that was really where the bully got his depth from, and it reminded me a bit of Schindler's List. of Oscar Schindler from Schindler's List. It occurred to me, like he's sitting there smoking a cigarette. For some reason, it just reminded me of Schindler's List, but the way Oscar Schindler, at first, he was literally a Nazi. And I mean, obviously, just because of it was opportunity for him as a businessman, he didn't really care about the Nazi agenda. But at the same time, he's like, I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy trying to survive. He was just looking out for himself. And yet he still winds up changing through his experiences. So, I mean, it seems to me that the bully made an important change there through what he experienced with Steven Spielberg. I think there's a message here about the power of film. Yeah. Because he finds redemption through that. It's like he finds hope because he's reached his lowest point. His family is breaking up. His girlfriend is just breaking up with him, and just so.
His girlfriend was a bitch.
No, she wasn't. I don't think she was. No, because that was really dumb what he said. Come on. He literally proposed to the girl. They had been dating for what, like a couple of weeks? I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, I don't know, just like it was all just kind of like awkward.
I mean, not
he was just a naive teenager.
Like,
he was, exactly.
It's like, you're really gonna leave this guy behind? Clearly, when he needs the emotional support, go fuck yourself.
Oh, come on, man. I mean, seriously,
she's a fucking 17, 18-year-old. Like,
yeah,
like nobody's mature at that age.
Yeah,
everybody's
not.
Like,
nobody knows what they want.
No,
you cannot expect her to upend her entire life, like she said, for somebody she just met a week or two ago. I mean,
yeah.
Now she barely knows him. I mean,
here's a question. Why did the bully change his opinion on Sammy just because he made him look good? Like he even got emotional too. Like he
did.
crying.
He didn't understand, because I don't think he understood. It's like, why did you do this? He's like, I treated you like dirt. He did not understand. You know, he's like, you did this great thing for me, and I think it really rocked.
It's like he was thinking, oh, so I'm supposed to feel bad because I treat you like shit, and in that film you made me look like the hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, and like he said, he's like, he even says it himself. He's like, maybe I just wanted you to be nice for 5 minutes, or maybe it was just shit. That's just the way that film just turned out, just because it looked the best that way. But I mean, it's a little of both. I think he said, you know, it's like his way of dealing with his emotions, like, and at the same time, I thought it was a bit of an inferiority complex in there too, because he makes this guy look like a superhero. He's like, it feels like I could never match up to this guy, you know. So I mean. But.
Yeah, I mean, and which ties back to what you were saying, Mark, that the Greek Olympics, how like the Greek myths pretty much shaped our view of what the superhero is nowadays. I mean, look at my icon in the fucking upper right hand corner.
Yeah,
like, hello. Speaking of Greek gods, there you go.
Seriously, exactly. Don't get much higher than that.
Major props to this movie, by the way, for finally giving Judd Hirsch another movie. That movie.
Oh, thank God! Thank you. Yeah,
that guy is not seen enough, and I just love him in any movie he's in.
Yeah, he was. He was weird. The dude was weird, but I think he kind of. Yeah. Like as the movie went on, he kind of had a point.
He did, because I think his point was, look, a career in show business, yes, it hurts, but I think he was saying it hurts more to not pursue that. It would hurt him a lot more, because I think the whole idea, the key to understanding Mitzi is that she always felt she had to suppress. I mean, she's a woman in the 50s. She has to suppress her ambition to support her husband.
Yeah.
And she, for once, she chose her own happiness. And that's what was her message to Steven. Well, I keep saying Steven, although, I mean, that was her message.
Kind of is.
I mean, you could say Steven, because it is
her message to him. And I imagine that was, because, I mean, honestly, she's a dead ringer for his mother. Like we said before, she's a dead ringer for Steven Spielberg's real mother.
The
makeup was a fantastic job, yeah.
Yeah, I looked up, I even looked up pictures of his mom, because I wasn't sure what she looked like.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Spot on.
Seriously. Yeah.
Even from the hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dear God, the hair, everything. Dear God.
Holy shit.
And even the monkey. The monkey. She really did bring. Just they came home one day.
What?
I gave
Yeah.
the monkey
Yeah,
gave
she was the artistic type, and it was really
Monkey.
she was the artist. His
Monkey.
father was the scientist.
Monkey.
Yeah, like they had that great line, and this family is the artist versus the scientist, and Sammy's on my side, So,
Although that monkey
Okay,
gave
right.
me flashbacks to a movie that came out earlier this year that I'd rather forget about.
What movies, Zach?
Well, I'll just put it this way. Am I gonna say it? Nope.
What about Nope, Zach?
yeah,
I think it's Peele's weakest work. Not
That's
just
the way you want to eat a little shit. Fine.
I actually agree. It is Peele's weakest movie, but like I just wanted to Phantom Zone to somebody.
Nah, man. Can't.
No, not just
Candyman
Peele.
reboot.
Okay, finally,
not
right
just Jordan
dude's on the
Peele's
right
weakest.
now.
Hey, I was.
Not
Hey,
just,
look,
not
mean,
just
that's
Jordan
like-
Peele's weakest movie. I would say that's his weakest work overall that I've seen.
he's done three films, man, and all three of them are great films. I mean,
Not just the three films.
Sam's
he's done,
weakest
but
work. That's still pretty
everything,
damn good.
everything.
Fuck the
Peele's
Candyman
done in
reboot.
his career.
That's
Like,
not. He didn't direct that though.
Yeah, but he wrote it and he produced
Yeah,
it.
but I'm just saying. I don't count. I'm only counting films he directed though.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about
We're talking about
Spielberg
good
and the
movies. Let's go
Fabelmans.
back to good movies. Steven
Yeah,
Spielberg,
really.
everybody.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Nope is a
this
good movie, but
it was
Here's
a
a good
deeply personal.
Here's a
film.
good discussion. Top 5 or just 3 Spielberg movies of all time.
oh, that's easy.
And where do you think this one fits in among his
If
great?
it's among the top 5.
Well, I mean,
What do you
or
think,
where
top five or-
about? So obviously, you can't rank it somewhere, but I mean, how do you think it compares with, in general, with his body of work?
I would say it's maybe top 5. I don't have like a list. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how
Yeah.
many I've seen.
I
of
would
him.
say, I would say at the very least, I think this would be in my top 5. I'd have to really think hard if it's going to be in my top 3 or not. So I'd have to wait.
My favorites, if I had to do like a top 5, then I would say Close Encounters,
Yeah,
E.T. Those are two of my favorite movies
Yep,
of all time.
I
I
was
adore
about
those
to say
movies.
thank you.
Jaws,
Yes, yeah.
Raiders of
Schindler's. I would say Schindler's has to be. To me, Schindler's has to be on
Raiders of the
top.
Lost Ark and Schindler's List.
Yeah.
If I had to do a top 3, I would say favorites obviously Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's easily my favorite.
I think it's better than Raiders. Yeah.
Then probably Saving Private Ryan.
Which I will never watch.
Then
Huh?
Okay, good.
What?
then what would be the third? I would either E.T. or Jaws probably would be my top 3. E.T. is up there, Jaws is up there. It's been a long time since I've seen Close Encounters, so I don't know how good that is.
I rewatched it recently.
But
The only other one I've seen was Jurassic Park, and while I like it, it's an okay movie. I don't think it's very
dude.
I
overrated.
agree.
I
I
like
I know.
Overrated.
Yeah, I think
It's good, but it's overrated. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree fully with John.
for
No, Jurassic Park would be among my favorite Spielberg movies. I love the first one.
It's understandable why, because I mean, but I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, for me, I was 18. I was kind of over the kid phase in, and I was like, it's all right.
You read the book, haven't you, Mark?
Great popcorn movie, but I don't think there's anything deeper.
But
there.
Mark, you read the book, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, but
I guess that makes my category a bit unique because my favorite Spielberg movie is actually War of the Worlds. Because my background is this goes way back to when I was a kid in elementary school. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds is my favorite book of all time.
Yeah.
So War of the Worlds, Spielberg one, is my favorite book to movie adaptation I've ever seen for personal reasons. It may have modernized the story from 1800s like in the book to modern setting, but it kept the spirit of the book, with the themes of paranoia and the overall tone. So I thought it was a great translation. Then of course other ones like War of the Worlds would be my number 1, then Jurassic Park, then Jaws. I'll put Close Encounters in there because that's another great alien film he did.
Hmm.
And then maybe The Fabelmans, just because it was a personal story for him, and I respect how he did it. So that'd be my 5.
Yeah, but I think because this is really hard for me because I mean doing just 5 is very difficult. I'll just name some of them on the top of my head in no order: Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. There was, I said Raiders, right? Yeah, The Last Crusade. I mean, I guess I'm just naming some at the top of my head. So, and because I thought of an underrated Steven Spielberg movie.
Wait, did I accidentally get rid of Mark?
You found him going Mark for no reason.
I accidentally swiped. I was cleaning my screen and I just tried to swipe something wrong. Accidentally swiped back. God damn it.
Do you know what's an underrated Steven Spielberg movie?
What's that?
Minority.
Hook.
That's
Oh,
fair.
yes,
That's fair.
yes,
I
yes.
know a lot of.
I would say.
Hook is
I would
amazing.
say. I would say his most underrated is probably Minority Report. That is so
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
Minority
It is.
Report is great. Catch Me If
Very,
You Can
very
is
good.
also really good.
What's
I
that?
would say top 3, but it's definitely up there.
War of the Worlds
one?
is one. Yeah, it's
Which one
funny.
did you say? I'm sorry. Which one did you say that last one you said, John?
Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yes,
There's
there.
Weekend's great. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a me thing.
I
but
also really liked The Adventures of Tintin. That's definitely one of my favorites.
How about Ready Player One?
I like Ray.
And-
I like Ray.
I enjoyed
I
it.
mean, to be
I
fair,
enjoy
I
it
will
too.
say Steven Spielberg, from what I've seen of the book, it's definitely better, but like that's not saying much.
I
Does
enjoyed it.
anyone ever really notice that
War
War of
Horse
the
was also
Worlds
really
is
good.
really underrated too? I never hear anyone talk about War of the Worlds anymore.
I haven't seen. God, I remember seeing that in theaters when it came out with my
I
grandparents.
saw that in theaters too. It was one of
It's
those
like,
movies.
come on, that one's a really good movie. Not just a good Spielberg movie, but just a good
What?
movie.
What?
War of the Worlds, the Spielberg one.
Yeah, War of the Worlds is good. I wouldn't say it's his
I gotta
top,
watch
but I
it
mean,
again.
I think it is very good though. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty much just straight the book. You know, I mean, it ends the same way. But I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
except it's
I
in
think that's
modern
Spielberg's most
day
underrated
America
movie.
rather
well,
than
yeah, true, modern day America.
1800s
Yeah,
England.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally think that's his.
But I
most-
mean, as far as the diseases, you know, wiping them out.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, but Tom Cruise is fantastic in it.
It's also my favorite Tom Cruise movie too.
Yeah. I don't know.
But,
One literally exists, man. So it's Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think honestly, I rewatched Close Encounters fairly recently because they had it on sale on Amazon Prime, and I just bought it, and it still stands up.
It's
Man.
it is in my. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in my top 5.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Damn good.
I mean, guys,
Yes.
am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
What's this now?
Close Encounters.
Yeah. The
Come on,
And,
that's how they talk to the aliens.
and by the way,
no, it's like that. It's like that. You flip it up like that.
by the way, did a little bit up, but did anybody ever watch like when it was re-released in IMAX this year? Did anyone ever watch E.T. or Jaws when they were re-released or something in IMAX?
No.
I
No.
did not.
Yeah,
I saw both.
I watched E.T.
That
I
would've been
wanted
awesome.
to.
That
I
is, it
wanted
is
to
awesome.
see Jaws. Did not care about ET because I'm not a fan.
What?
What the fuck?
I just. Here's the
Out
thing.
of all your bad opinions, that is absolutely the worst. That is absolutely the
Let's
worst.
put Jaws.
All right, sorry, Zach, but I gotta put you down.
You are. Jesus. How do you not like E E.T.?
I will say, my friend Peter, the one we did a stream
Yeah.
with, Devin, he hates ET.
Damn.
Fucking absolutely hates it.
Jeez. But I will say my daughter hates it because she finds E.T. creepy. My daughter has, ever since she was a kid, she's always found E.T. creepy. I do not understand it.
I got
Yeah.
I get on her about it all the time.
Especially
let's
with
Zach
the
speak.
original design
thing.
of the aliens back when it was called Night Skies. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't not like ET. It's just not one I love. It's just simply that.
It's one you like, just not love, right?
Love though. I mean, that I love that.
Is it one you
Yeah, I love
one you just like, just not love?
It's like
seriously, that film is
it's like,
adorable to me.
Love it. It's so amazing.
Oh,
Here's
but
the- I
I
will say this though. I love everything in the back half when like the government starts getting involved and all that, and when all that starts getting started. I love that whole chunk of the movie. But everything else is just I get it, it's slower, it's building character,
I
but
mean,
I just liked the back half of the film where again the government starts getting involved and all that. That's my favorite part of the movie.
But here's
I mean,
the thing, Zach. Do they have guns or walkie-talkies?
yeah.
Nope.
But I mean,
Trying to
the
make a
government.
joke.
First of all, the government's there from the
I
very
get the
first
joke.
scene.
I get
though.
the
I mean,
joke, John.
the government's there from the very first scene.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I mean,
Well, like you
I-
know what I mean, like what you know
But,
what I
like
mean?
once
like,
they
when
come
that
in,
part
like
of the movie was
when they're
getting
coming into
started,
the house, like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
like,
I know what you
the
mean,
guy's
yeah.
like, "Oh,
But, I
it's like a
mean-
horror scene.
but you
It's-
got to have those other scenes to establish the relationship between E.T.
Yeah.
and Elliot.
This is Zach, everyone. He has terrible taste.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
establish that relationship between E.T. and the kids.
I mean,
Hey,
and all
I
hey,
don't
Jeff-
think he's saying like that the buildup shouldn't be there. I think he's just saying he just prefers the government stuff. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
more
yeah. I
interesting.
get it. Yeah, I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
and I will also say I do think the alien, the character is likable. Obviously, ET is very iconic, but I do think the design is kind of creepy.
Mm.
what?
I
I
think
can
he's
kind of see that. I will say he
Okay.
did kind of creep me out as a kid a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, my older brother was creeped out by
Here's the
him
thing.
as a kid too.
I remember because
I wasn't, but he was.
because
Me
this
neither.
thing, ET isn't even
Got it.
one I grew up with. I watched it
I was
once when I was a
thinking
I
kid.
did.
It
Yeah.
scared the
It is.
fuck out of me. So I haven't seen it for nearly like maybe 10, 15 years.
Maybe you should watch it after the stream, Zach.
I'm the only one who's.
I have seen it again a couple years ago.
I'm the only one who's
And
old
after
enough.
saying it,
I'm the
No.
only one who's old enough to have seen it in theaters.
When it was
Yeah,
originally in
aren't you
theaters,
so
I mean,
fucking lucky,
Yes,
Mark? You
I
saw the
am.
best movies in the theater. Okay, we
Yeah.
get it. Fuck
Hey.
you.
hey, Devin, I have a question.
I even saw it in a drive-in theater.
I've got
wow.
a question. I got a question,
Okay,
Devin.
stop flexing, Mark. Jesus Christ.
Are you done? Are you done?
I
Okay.
done.
I was going to ask you a question, Devin.
Not even
Go ahead.
close.
What is Mark's favorite
Oh, I'm
movie?
just getting warmed up.
What's Mark's favorite movie?
Oh,
His
his
favorite-
his
Steven
favorite
Spielberg
Spielberg movie is
Yes.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
That's Mark's favorite.
Fuck you.
Mark's favorite Spielberg
Fuck
movie.
you.
oh
You.
fuck!
Oh, as a matter of fact, your favorite film, the Indiana Jones 5, that shit is fucking terrible from what I've read. I've read some horrible shit about the reactions.
By the way, we all know. Everyone here knows that Mark's favorite movies of all time are The Godfathers Part 1 and 2.
Thank you. This guy.
And especially
This guy
part
gets it.
3.
You're welcome, Mark.
Masterpiece.
Actually, you know what? Coda is a lot better. Coda's a lot better.
I have
Coda
heard
is
the
a-
editor's cut is a lot better.
It is, yeah.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Coda's a
I
lot
think
better.
everyone can kind of unanimously agree that, like, well, in a sense, I mean, I still enjoyed it. It's still not a good
is
movie, but I
this-
enjoy
was this-
Crystal Skull. But hold on, Zach. I think everyone could kind of unanimously agree that Crystal Skull, AI, and 1941 are Steven Spielberg's worst movies.
I actually
Because-
don't know.
Yeah.
I
They're
get
not
that
necessarily
thing.
bad movies,
Yeah.
but they're like considered his worst.
Here's
You see, I don't-
those are
you
the
see,
three
I
that
don't
come
like
up
her-
the most.
You see, I do not like Crystal Skull.
I don't like Crystal
I just-
Skull, and I don't like Temple Doom either.
Me neither.
I don't
Well,
like
I
Temple
love
Doom
Temple
either.
of Doom. I mean, honestly, Temple of Doom
Willie
was
calls
my
it.
favorite as a kid.
Yes.
I think because
Thank you.
honestly, it was so visceral. I mean, I had that visceral reaction to it as a kid, and honestly, it still holds up in the sense that it doesn't hold up as well as an adult, but it still does in many respects because, for one thing, Short Round is still fucking adorable. I still fucking love Short Round.
Wow, holy smoke!
Hold on,
It has some of the best action in the whole series. It has some of the very best action in the whole series. You got an iconic villain in Mola Ram. I mean, dear God, how many other villains have you ever seen ripped out a guy's fucking heart and showed it to him while he was still bleeding? That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, and
Mola Ram
AI,
is a great villain.
And then lit it on fire. Remember that?
Seriously, it lit the shit on fire. Fuck.
AI,
I mean-
I loathe, despise, hate the ending of AI with
I
a
love AI.
burning motherfucking passion.
Well, then again,
I love it.
then again,
that's what Kubrick wanted, and
That's
Steven
what I-
Spielberg was like commemorating his friend. So
that's what I was going to say,
I get
John.
that, but it's just this and the ending, it's too fucking bleak. I mean, the whole
I've never
point
seen
is
it, I
that
can't
he's
judge.
not, that the kid is trying to.
I haven't seen AI either. I just
is
know the
trying
infamous
to
ending.
find his mother again just to be able to see her for one more day. Fuck you. It's like this. It's too fucking bleak. It's like I said, because here's the thing. I was really liking this movie up to this point. I really was, but I despise, I loathe, I hate the ending with a loathing, burning motherfucking passion.
Well, that's
It's one of-
exactly what I like about it, though.
It's like it is one of the. I would even go so far as to say I would call it one of the worst endings I've ever seen to any movie.
Oh, come
Oh,
on. Jesus
wow.
Christ.
Wow.
I kind of I like the bleakness of him just like sitting at the ocean floor, just wishing
Thank
to
you.
be a real boy. I
Exactly.
like that. That's a cool ending. But then you kind of have the schmaltzy ending with like him being with his mother and like that whole stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently, even though Steven Spielberg's more known for schmaltz, according to Doug Walker, that is, it was the Kubrick's favorite ending. So that's what Spielberg wanted to commemorate him. So here we are.
Yeah.
Oh well. But anyway, let's talk about good Steven Spielberg movies.
Actually, you know what? This stream should be called "The Cool Kids." Favorite Steven Spielberg movies.
I am gonna rename
Plus-
it. I am gonna once
Fabelmans
this,
review.
once this ends, I'm gonna rename it to the Fabelmans and Spielberg discussion because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because what's not like you can't like talk about a Spielberg movie and not just mention literally everything about Spielberg.
Yeah, really.
Like
Yeah,
it's fucking Spielberg. Like
I mean-
He's a giant. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's why I love that scene at the end, and that's another Spielberg trait, a kind of trait, because you know how in Close Encounters he had Francois Truffaut in there, another director he really liked. He really idolized Francois Truffaut in there, the French director, and he has, of course, fucking David Lynch in this as John Ford. That was fucking great.
I'm pretty sure.
If the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. If the horizon's at the top, interesting.
It's interesting.
If the horizon's in the middle, it's shit.
Boring as fuck.
Exactly. Perfect.
I'm pretty. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if John Ford was actually like that in real life.
no, apparently John Ford was a huge fucking asshole. Treated
Yeah.
Maureen O'Hara like shit. According to
So
the
basically, he's one of those directors that was an asshole to work with, like Kubrick and Alfred Hitchcock.
Yep.
Most directors on the
He's apparently a huge douche. So
a lot of directors are usually like that because they've made so many movies. They're all like
They become perfectionist.
I don't know. I've heard that George Lucas is good to work with. He just doesn't give a lot of direction. I mean, he just kind of stand off. Yeah.
oh my god, that actually reminds me. There was a really funny interview with I think Ewan McGregor was on Graham Norton. I don't know if all of you know this interview, but he was talking about he's like, oh yeah, George Lucas, great director, but he's like, the problem is he's not a very human director. He's a very technical. He's a very technical director. He's great with a shot, great with everything behind it. But when he's talking to actors, he's very robotic.
It shows.
Yes, it does.
It's funny.
So during Attack of the Clones, and George Lucas was trying to give direction to Boba Fett, like the little kid, and he's trying to trying to explain to him, you should be untrustworthy of Obi-Wan when he comes in. He's like, you have to be like this, and the kid just wasn't getting it. So Ewan McGregor whispers to him, after George Lucas goes away, Ewan McGregor whispers to him, he's like, so when you come to the door, just act like I've just ripped a really nasty fart. And then just do it like that. And so the kid fucking opens the door and he looks at him funny. And that's the take that he went with.
Exactly.
But guys,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
but guys, just remember, it's like poetry, sort of they rhyme.
It's sort of
Every
rhymes.
stanza
I'm
kind of rhymes
actually
with the
about
last
to
one.
say
That's why I
something.
can't-
Wait. I've been saying to say, but I was going to say that speaking of George Lucas, I think some of their best work was when they were working together on the Raiders of the Lost Ark trilogy.
Yeah.
I hope. I just hope. I just hope it works out.
Well,
I'm actually about to say something
That was
very
what George Lucas said.
controversial about George
that works.
Lucas.
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
about to say something very controversial.
Go ahead.
be careful.
So y'all know the Revenge of the. So y'all know the Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would even go so far
I
as to
do.
say that he directed it better than the original Star Wars.
I'll just
I
give
don't
you
know if I
this
say
one.
he directed.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I don't know if I would say
Yeah.
he directed it better because I mean,
Yeah.
I think he casted. I love the way he casted the original because he cast them as an ensemble. He had them read together, and that's how he cast them. Get just that right mix, and it shows because those three have just amazing fucking chemistry together. So
Maybe I'm biased towards Revenge of the Sith because Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith is the greatest acting I've ever seen in any movie. Personally,
but that's on him. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say any, but I mean,
Wow.
he did do an amazing job. He did do a great job, and I do think he just owns that role now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's arguably even surpassed.
Yeah,
Consider Alec Guinness is dead and hates it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hated it. So yeah, so like
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, so, but I mean, I think he's. I mean, honestly, Revenge is probably my favorite one too. But I mean, even though I think that Empire is technically better, I think Revenge is my favorite because it tells a more epic story.
Sam,
Just
I
what we say is
prefer,
prolonged.
like, for instance, my favorite is Return of the Jedi. Like, I
Mhm.
love that movie.
I do.
With
I
all
love
the
it too.
Ewoks
I
and all
love it.
that shit.
Mhm.
Because like I kind of feel bad. Like a lot of people shit on it. I feel
They do, and it's not fair.
They
It's
do.
still,
it's
Oh,
not
no.
fair.
Return of
but,
the
like,
Jedi is actually my favorite of the originals.
but
I'm basically like Empire.
I mean, Empire
I
is
like
the
all three.
best. Yes,
I
like all-
but
I like all
do-
three.
Oh, all three are great.
but
Yeah.
I
Hey, John
think all
said
three
so.
are exceptional. But
Yeah.
Return is my favorite. I don't know why, but something about Return, I like the balance of darkness and light, and I like New Hope. Yes, it's dark, but that's the light
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
Empire is the dark movie. I think Return of the Jedi is the balance between the two, and I think that was intentional. And I like that a little bit more. And don't get me wrong, I love darkness and I love light, but I like the fact that it's balanced. I like the fact that it's balanced in Return of the Jedi.
I agree.
How-
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point. I mean, Empire is one of the most satisfying conclusions. I would argue maybe the most satisfying conclusion of any trilogy. I mean, it's just because I mean that's why I still say Harrison Ford may have wanted Han to die, but I mean George Lucas was right. There's no way you can't kill Han in there. I mean, that's going to ruin the whole. And you need.
And then J.J. Abrams comes in and like,
Darn.
fuck all y'all.
Exactly.
Darn it, you ruined my joke because Mark was saying, oh, and it was one of the most satisfying trilogies ever, and I was about to joke and say, and they never made any more.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams is like, hold my beer.
Yeah, really.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, I bet the only reason that Harrison Ford would have come back would have been like,
That is what.
okay, are you killing me? Are you finally
that's what he
fucking
did.
killing me? Then I'll come back.
That's why he said
Yeah.
literally that was in the thing. That was his condition for coming back. He said, "You got to kill me off."
What
He
about
did not want
this?
to come back ever again.
What about this? So, Mr. Ford, what was your reason for coming back? I've got to have
Money.
But I mean,
You got that clip, John?
Yeah, hold on.
We've got to have money.
But I mean, as for me, I never gave my opinion on this bill. As far as I rewatched Close Encounters, and I still think that might be his best made movie. I mean, it's just so much in there. I mean, horror, sci-fi, drama. It's just a mix of fucking everything. And it starts out, it builds up this tension, and it's so eerie and creepy and scary in places and there's so much tension that it has this uplifting ending at the end, and it's so beautiful, and it makes it even more beautiful, and it just works so well. But I mean, I love E.T. the most. As far as my favorite, E.T. will always be.
Now, Mark, I don't know if anyone here will agree with me on this, but I think both Close Encounters and E.T. have some of John Williams' best score.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, yeah.
And just saying, the part where Barry the kid gets abducted.
Yeah.
Imagine
Man.
Imagine if that was your kid. That's fucking
Yeah,
terrifying.
that is.
Yeah.
That is. As a parent, that's even more terrifying. That's frightening.
Yeah.
That shit is frightening.
And there's nothing you can do.
There really isn't. I mean, because they just everything she tried, just nothing was working. It's like this is gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
John Williams' score and that was good, but I don't know. My favorite John Williams scores, again, I'm biased, so Revenge of the Sith, War of the Worlds, and Return of the Jedi.
All right, that's fair.
Well, that's fair.
That's fair. I
And,
mean,
did you guys hear that John Williams was going to be retiring after the next movie he's composing?
I thought
he was retiring after
I
Rise of
thought he was going to
Skywalker.
retire after Rise of
Yes,
Skywalker.
yeah, seriously.
that's what I heard.
Well, I heard that he was
God,
going
man,
to.
this man's almost like Brett Favre, where he just retires 10 million times.
Because I looked somewhere up and it said that the next movie that he's composing, he said that will be his last before his retirement, and it's one that Mark's not going to like hearing. Indiana Jones 5.
God damn it! You know what? Honestly, I kind of am looking forward to reviewing that now because I'm looking forward to ripping that thing to fucking shreds.
We should have
Fucking destroy it.
It's like, really, dude?
I
Like,
already started
man,
practicing what I'm going to say in my head.
like,
'Cause I was talking to myself and Kate was like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just practicing what I'm going to say."
like,
Dude,
I mean, we all know it's going to be shit.
oh
'cause at
yeah,
least-
Oh yeah.
it
At
is going
least,
to be.
okay, at least
John Williams,
give
if you're
Crystal Skull
watching,
this. It had Spielberg and Lucas attached,
Yeah,
and it
When
wasn't
Spielberg
under
walked-
Disney.
yeah,
It wasn't under fucking Disney.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this one, I love
Wait.
James
Wait a minute.
Mangold. He's an exceptional director, but
Spielberg's not attached to
only-
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was, but he stepped out. He was going to direct it, but he stepped away. That's what had me worried. Now he may have done just
and then
because he wanted to
also,
do
and
the
then
table.
even though Mangold's great, I also a major like blow to my respect for him. It took a major blow was when he like threw a bitch fit on Twitter when like somebody was like criticizing Indiana Jones 5, like why are they making this? And he like went on this like whole fucking tirade, like oh fuck, like this whole thing, and it's like, bruh, really? Like you're fucking having fights with people on Twitter? Like really?
Yeah, really.
How fucking old are you, man?
Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, it's toxic as fuck.
Yeah. It's the reason why I hardly use it.
because frankly, that's
Why
the
delete it
only
behind?
reason I'm even considering seeing Indiana Jones 5 is because James Mangold is directing. If it was any other name aside from Spielberg, I wouldn't give a shit.
I mean, I will admit when I heard that Spielberg was in, because I know that he and Lucas had a big disagreement over 4, and I suspect that Spielberg would have made a much better film if he had had his way. But I mean, because I don't know, I think George has kind of lost it. I don't know, because I mean, I think that with the overall structure of the prequels is beautiful. Like the film I watched, The Politics of Star Wars, the YouTube video. It really goes in depth, especially about the overarching arc of the trilogy of the prequels works extremely well as far as the fall of an empire, the fall of the republic, and the way a democracy becomes a totalitarian state. I mean,
This
it's
is how liberty dies.
dictatorship with thunderous applause. Yeah, great line. I mean,
And people say the prequels had bad lines and dialogue.
it did have bad lines.
did.
and dialogue. That's the problem with it.
Because I'm so in love with you.
Yeah, really. I mean,
Revenge of the
that's where-
Sith. Revenge of the Sith had the best writing and dialogue, though.
Are you? Come on. You're so beautiful.
So,
It's because I'm so in love. No.
no, it is only because I am so in love.
with you.
Come on,
Show don't tell, George.
we can at least say though, all the best lines were from Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I
And,
can agree
and,
with
and
that.
the Emperor, I'll put Ian McDermott in there too. He was having a ball on those movies.
Oh God, yeah.
No, no,
Look,
you
I-
die.
He stole the show in all three, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus, he's that fucking brilliant. I mean, he just went off in the third one, just like in Return of the Jedi. He stole the show in Return of the Jedi.
And I hate
fucking actor.
And I hate to give Rise of Shitwalker any sort of fucking credit, but to its worth, Ian McDiarmid still did a good job again. So
yeah.
But then again,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Ian McDiarmid. So
I'm sorry, guys. I still stand by this. George Lucas cannot direct his actors, and he's not a good writer.
I think he's a good story writer. I don't think he's good with dialogue, though.
Yeah,
I can
agree with that.
I think he should write the story. I don't think he should write the screenplay. I think somebody else need to go over the screenplay and improve that dialogue.
Yeah. And John Williams, if you're watching, if you really want to retire, don't let Rise of Skywalker be your last hurrah or Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yes, because John Williams is watching this random stream.
Yes,
Yeah,
seriously.
like the man is like pushing 95 at this point, and he's watching some like fucking shitty stream with a. I'm sure he's watching YouTube right now. I'm sure he doesn't have.
He's
fucking
our
better
one
things to
viewer.
do.
John Williams is our one.
John Williams is our one viewer.
Yeah, he's tuning into this no budget review show.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What is this? Cool Kids.
Although
Who are these guys? Who the hell are these assholes?
Although we'd be flattered. We'd be
Gotta
flattered.
love how this Spielberg stream turned into a fucking Star Wars stream.
Yeah, I know. Dear God.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
those
wasn't
two
my
are
idea,
tied
John.
so close together. Those two are tied together, man. You can't discuss one without discussing the other. I mean, honestly, Jaws still stands up as one of his best. A lot of people still think Jaws is.
Oh yeah, I love
Jaws is fucking amazing.
Did John Williams score Jaws too, or did they
Yeah,
just?
he scored Jaws. Yeah, he created that one too. I mean, Jesus Christ, the man has
Has
scored.
anybody here seen
created the
Sugarland
soundtrack for our
Express?
childhoods, man? I mean,
Seen what?
Has anybody here seen Sugarland Express?
I have not.
I don't even know what
I
I
have
haven't
not.
seen it. I don't know what
That was
is.
that was technically Spielberg's first ever movie.
Mhm.
It was his first theatrical.
First
His
theatrical,
first real movie was Duel, but that was a TV movie, so I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
But his first theatrical film was Sugarland Express with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. I have not seen it. I've heard of it. I have not seen it though. I have not seen Fuel either.
Yeah, I haven't seen Duel either. I haven't seen a lot of his more serious works like Color Purple or Empire of the Sun or Amistad
I've
or
seen-
Munich, but I've heard they're good.
I saw Empire of the Sun when I was young, when I was a kid, and hardly remember it. I mean, I remember it was good. I think, but I mean, I really don't remember very much about it. I've seen The Color Purple, of course. I've seen The Color
Haven't seen that.
Purple. That's really good. That's good. I mean, some people like it, some people hate it, but I mean, you know.
I will
Speaking
admit,
of The Color Purple, speaking of The Color Purple, I still remember when fucking Elizabeth Banks was on her fucking soapbox. She's like, Spielberg hasn't directed a movie with the female lead, and everyone's like, The Color Purple.
Yeah.
Rod.
Temple of Doom.
But that
happened?
really sucked.
Female lead.
Temple of Doom sucked.
Temple of Doom did not have a female lead. It's literally Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's not a female lead.
All right,
Female
we're
lead.
not sinking. We're crashing.
I mean,
Long live the king.
you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Don't fuck with Temple of Doom.
Thank you.
I like Temple of Doom. It's good. Fuck off.
Thank you. Exactly.
I honestly,
Look, the chase scene through the mine, that alone is one of the best fucking scenes in the entire fucking trilogy.
I honestly never really even understood the discourse with Temple of Doom. It feels like the other two
It was
movies.
just
was
that
like,
Willie sucks. That's pretty much it. They think
Yeah,
they think
exactly.
Willie's
Yeah.
annoying and Short Round is annoying, and that's it. Like, fuck the rest of the movie.
Thank
We
you, sir.
won't count that part, but nah,
Exactly,
this one
seriously.
fucking character is gonna
Willie
ruin it for
sucks.
everything else.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
Seriously.
Bump off, you bumping grass hoe.
Seriously. That's basic as fuck.
Did y'all ever see the nostalgia
acknowledge-
critics?
I acknowledge all the good things in the movie. It's just it would have been a lot better if Willie wasn't so annoying.
Exactly.
Short round is okay. Short round is actually useful.
I actually-
an annoying bitch.
I love Short Round. Short Round's funny.
Yeah.
He has good
And-
chemistry with Indy too.
And he was also in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he was amazing.
And he was in the fucking Goonies. He was a Goonie motherfucker.
Goonies never die.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Ella,
To the truffle shuffle.
Ella, what'd you think of the movie?
I'm sorry. I'm not showing my fat on screen. I don't want to scar people.
I'm not
I
doing
really
it
don't wanna
either.
scar
I'm not doing it either. I'm not doing the truffle shuffle either.
All right, so
No.
we'll try to end this in the next couple of
I
minutes.
do love me some Chunk though. Chunk is the best.
Fabelmans. That was the original movie we were talking about. What are everyone's final thoughts?
Point
on
of
this?
reference, ladies and gentlemen.
Go check it out.
All right, can I say
Go ahead.
now, yes, we didn't really go into a lot of detail about the movie, but this is a movie where just talking about it isn't enough. This is a movie that you
you
really
gotta
need to see
experience
to
it.
fully
You gotta
experience.
see it. You gotta see it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the spoilers just aren't, it's an experience. You really just have to experience it because it's beautifully shot and it acted and structured and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
just a
Ella
real experience.
also gives her seal of approval. If Ella is purring
off.
during a movie review,
Fuck off, you stupid cat.
if Ella is purring during a movie review, that means she liked the movie.
But
Okay.
don't consider this as a review, but more or less a celebration of Spielberg and his work.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
Amen.
Spielberg's celebration of himself, but it's not like it's not like
It's
circle
not-
jerking. It's not
it's not
circle
wank.
jerking his life
Yes.
or like his movies or anything. It's just like
Well,
as
yeah.
what Mark was saying was like what he believed is what the correct
Yeah.
path should be and that
Exactly.
kind of thing. So
I mean, his
I-
mother literally asked him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go first.
I was just going to say that his mother, had literally, she said he's talked about how she asked him for years, when are you going to do a movie about us? Because, and how his mother pointed out that all his films have some of those themes of, divorce and absentee fathers, as in like Close Encounters and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, And it's like, when are you going to make a movie about us? And he finally did it. So, I mean,
Yeah, only after the both of them.
only
died.
after both of them died. Yeah. I mean, which honestly I understand because as somebody who's lost both of his parents now, that's kind of what you do. You kind of start dealing with that shit. Yeah.
It makes
You
sense.
kind of
Yeah,
reconcile them. It kind of makes sense of everything.
yeah, this was definitely an extremely well done movie. Highly recommend it. Sorry that we couldn't talk about it more, but it was just like, again, you just have to experience it for yourself, and it's extremely well done. And if you love Spielberg, you're going to love this movie.
Yes.
And even you, I do want to add something. It is funny how both my dad and somebody in my theater after the movie was done both said we're like, wow, that kid, he really looks like Spielberg too.
Yeah, really. He really fucking does. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like by the end, he looks so much like a young Spielberg. It's like, God damn. Jesus, it's eerie. Yeah. I mean,
Anybody
was
else
really
have anything to say?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned next Saturday on this channel right here for our review of Violent Night.
yes.
I am hyped as hell for this movie.
So looking forward to it.
I really
John
hope
Wick
David
plus
Harbour finally
David
has
Harbour
a-
plus
For me,
Chris-
Santa Claus, the Santa Claus.
Will David Harbour in his streak of shitty films ever since Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Boy, awful.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But remember,
Yes.
kids. Remember,
Opinions are like
to the
assholes.
cool
Let
kids
us-
watching. Remember this. Always remember this. When the horizon's on the bottom, it's interesting. When the horizon's on the top, it's interesting. When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
Shit, exactly.